My name is Michelle Hanna. I am a math teacher at Ben L. Smith High School. I teach Math 1, and I've been teaching here in this environment in Ben L. Smith for 8 years. This is year 8 for me. In Math 1, there's one, in first block, there's one student who's identified as an English language learner. There's also about 3 or 4 students who has a low English language proficiency, and they receive other benefits and other programs to help increase their language proficiency, to help them with their reading and bring up their reading skills. Building the background knowledge, what's great for this course, and especially the first class, is this was a year-long Math 1 class. So we've taken the Math 1 curriculum and stretched it from August till June, which allows me the more time to hit on the little bit harder topics. Systems is going to be a big thing on there, on the EOC. Systems of equations is also difficult for a lot of them because they see the words. A lot of the times when they see the words, they freeze. So that's why I've spent the time to, okay, we've got the skill of the graphing, we took the skill of the substitution, took the skill of the elimination, and make sure we mastered those over the previous lessons and previous days, to today, kind of bringing it back in. Okay, remember we've done this on this day, this on this day. Today, let's pull it all together with some words. The warm-ups are not necessarily what we're going to do today. It might be what we have done previously that kind of goes in with today. They may know what standard form is, which is what the first two were, but they forget, oh, standard form is ax plus by equals c. They know the word, but they don't make the connection with what it actually is. And then the slope-intercept form, that was an entire unit that we did probably back in September. So just making sure that they know how to manipulate those equations, making sure they go back to that. That was the key for the warm-up today, because I knew that they were going to have to manipulate some equations for substitution today. With the homework, not everybody's going to volunteer, not everybody's going to go up to the board. I don't generally go over every homework question because that could take forever. I'll ask, hey, what questions do we struggle with? What questions do we need to go over? And we'll get a consensus. So a lot of times with homework as well, I'll walk around to see that they've attempted it, more so over the accuracy, because I need them to truly try it so I can see where they're making their mistakes. Alright, what are we going to accomplish today? Susie, what are we accomplishing today? Read the I can statements for me.
Solve a system of equations algebraically to find an exact solution.
By what?
Substitution and elimination.
And we did substitution and elimination the last 2 days, yes?
Yes.
Kiera, what's the other objective? What's the other I can we're going to do today? Context. What's that mean if we're going to be dealing with real world scenarios? Real life stuff. What's some real life stuff that we could be dealing with?
Food.
Some food. We talked about a little bit of it yesterday, right? What else?
Money.
Some money. Anything else?
Houses.
Some houses. We're going to take all of the equations that we've been doing, put some word problems together where you might actually use it in real life. Yes, no, maybe?
Yes.
How do we do on these? What do I need to do to number 1?
Remove x.
Paul, what'd you say?
Get your x to the equal sign.
Get my,
X.
where?
Over there.
How do I move this to the other side?
Change the sign.
Add it, change the sign, right?
Yes.
So this is actually going to be what?
6x
6x
plus y
plus y
equals 8.
equals 8. Is that in standard form now?
Yes.
Yes. All we had to do was move that 6x, right? All right, homework. And yay, we all did our homework today. Does anybody want to do number 4? You want to come do it? Come on. Does anybody want to do 10? Or is that the one most of us need help on?
I would do it, but I don't think it's
That's okay. You want to try? You got 10? Want to put it over here? right, and what method should we have used last night for homework? Elimination. Looking at those two, the last 2 days, what do we like better? Y'all like elimination better? Doesn't matter? Are we always going to be able to just use one or just use the other?
No.
It depends on how they give us the equations, right? Learning strategies I want them to master. First of all, don't get overwhelmed. And that's easier said than done. If they see a word problem that's more than 2 or 3 sentences, they'll shut down. And I want them, first of all, to get over that fear. A lot of these words are here just to try to throw you off or confuse you. Cut out what's not important. Find what is important. And when we use the highlighter, it's to make these certain things stand out. I'll tell them first off, we're not highlighting the whole problem because everything in there is not important. Just highlight. If you don't have a highlighter, underline. What's important, the key facts, the key words. What are we looking for? What's the most important sentence? That's what I want them to pull out of dealing with word problems. So the purpose of the highlighting, I'm going to show you what I want you to do. I'm going to show you what has been successful for me as a teacher with children and students over the previous years. I'm going to show you, hey, we're pulling out what's important. We're not highlighting everything. And if I can model that at the board and show you exactly what I want, exactly what's going to come out, you can do that. So then when they got to their stations, that's why I made the extra copy so they could highlight, they could write on, and pull out their own information. At least they saw what was important. They may not have put it in the equation correctly, but I could see, hey, they know what's important. Now let's tweak those writing the equation skills. Everybody has paper? Everybody has a highlighter? Should I go ahead and read number 1?
You are selling tickets for a high school basketball game. Student tickets cost $3 and general admission tickets cost $5. You sell 350 tickets and collect $1,450. How many of each type of ticket did you sell?
Where do we start?
Alright.
Before we highlight, we read the problem, right? Very first thing, read the problem, understand what it's asking about. What are the 2 different things we're dealing with? We're dealing with money and we're dealing with tickets. Does everybody see that?
Yes.
But not only are we dealing with money and tickets, what else? Is there any other 2 things that are different? What do you say, Paul? The student tickets and the general admission tickets. Where do we go now? After we read the problem, after we find out what we're talking about, where do we go next in that problem? What's the most important sentence? The question, where's that found? At the end. That's going to tell you what to do everything with, right? What are we looking for? How many of each type of ticket did you sell? So are we looking at the money and the tickets? It's asking for each type of ticket. What are my 2 types of tickets? General admission and students. So you guys see how on the side there's kind of like a graphic organizer?
Yeah.
Underneath the first part it says to define the variables, right? What variables should we use? X and Y. General admission X, students Y. Now we got to get our equations, right? How many equations? 2. Cara said money and tickets. Those are my 2 different things we're dealing with, right? So now let's go through the problem. You're selling tickets for a high school basketball game. Student tickets cost what?
$3.
So the students are $3. What else does it say? General admission is $5. What else is important? You sell what? 350 tickets and you collect $1,450. Knowing that, how are we going to set up two equations? Dealing with the English language, second language, and even some of the regular students are very low readers, which can still follow the SIOP model. I generally try to have them work with another person, 2s, maybe 3s. I don't try to go more than 3s because they seem to get distracted when they do that. With this lesson, I allowed them to work with who they wanted to work with, which they felt more comfortable. And they felt more comfortable asking their neighbor, hey, I might not understand this word. Can you help me out with this word? But I always like to keep them in pairs, and I have them rely on their partner before they come to me. A lot of them, with dealing with the English learners, I make sure to have stuff already made for them. The word problems were already written down for them so they didn't have to copy, because even translating stuff that might be on the board onto a sheet of paper, they can't even transfer correctly, so I already have that down. I made sure to have the highlighters for them, so we're writing and cutting up and chopping up word problems. Who wants one of these to help with what we're going to do next? You don't have to. Some of you, I think it's better to keep you organized. Some of you don't like the chart. All yes? Okay, so here's what I want to do now. We just went over these two problems. One of them was solving by substitution, the other was solving by elimination. There's a different type of problem in each one of the colored sheets of paper. Okay, there's a number on it. So, the colors mean something. What's the green mean you're going to solve by? The green word problems are going to be solved using, and the yellow are going to be solved using elimination. So, stay with your partner. Go to a word problem. There's different ones, so yes, you can write on it and mark on it. So, there's 6 problems. Guess what? Go get to a set of desks. You'll see the number and start working on that. And yes, there's enough of these that you can write on. You can write on them when you get here. It's the word problems that we've been dealing with, the same similar type. You can write on the colored sheets of paper, yes.
So we can write chicken.
It's already on there. Notice what chicken is what?
Oh yeah, -6 for the first one. Yeah. I was talking about 3 people
Plus
times
would
6.
be your 5 meals, right? So you've got your nights day, you've got your meals. Those are your 2 different variables, right? Well, now, which one of these are we looking at? Is this going to look similar to the first example that we did or the second example that we did? Assessment needs to be done all the time. A lot of the times I don't realize that I'm actually assessing my children. It's kind of more of like a natural thing. I'm going to question you. I'm going to say, hey, what do you get? Hey, do you not get this? Walking around when I check the homework, hey, we did it. That means we got it. If they're struggling, a lot of times the homework's not done or it's halfway done. So that's just one way of assessing them from the previous lesson. Just questioning them as we're going through the examples. Hey, what do we do next? What's the next step? Or what do you think here? You can tell who has it and who doesn't. A lot of the times you can stand up, or I can stand up in the front of my classroom and look around and be like, okay, you have it, you really don't because you're not engaged, you're not focused. So I got to make sure when we get to the individual or the group work to spend a little bit more time with you to make sure that you get it. Assessment isn't always a test, a quiz. It could just be a question, it could just be a facial expression. But once again, it comes down to where the relationship is with your children and knowing their mannerisms. How are we doing on these? I'm seeing some writing. Did we miss some signs?
I just put the 6 right there.
So did you do -6 plus 3x? That's fine. Did you guys hear what she said? She said she wrote this.
No.
Are those the same? They're the same exact thing, are they not?
Yes.
What happened to them?
They just
We just switched. Does that change which one the slope is?
no.
Which one's the slope? Not the x, just the 3. Yes?
What about number 4? Divide by 8.
The y is almost already by itself, right?
Yes.
So I've got 8y equals 24 minus 8x. And I take said to do what? Just divide by 8. So what do I get? 3 minus 1x. What's another way I could write it? Y equals what? Negative x plus 3. When I first did the PSYOP training, it made me understand why some of my students thought the way they thought. And I had never thought about that before. You know, the different graphic organizers and things like that. If somebody doesn't teach you or train you, you don't think about it that way. So I appreciate the PSYOP training, especially dealing with my ESL children.